Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video with On Point Politics. And today we're going to be looking at the latest forecast for the 2024 presidential election. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe. If you want more content just like this, make sure to follow me on X at On Point Politics in all lowercase. I do post there pretty frequently. And make sure to comment down below because it will help us out with the algorithm. And so just a few weeks away from the presidential election, right now, we are in lockstep with Rasmussen Reports, the People's Pundit, which is Richard Barris, and right now also Valuetainment. Tom and Amy have been kind of doing some work over there, projecting the election. And all of us are seemingly collectively agreeing that Donald Trump is favored to win this race. And I've done sort of my own polling analysis on this that I think is going to interest you guys quite a bit. I mean, if we look at this, right, this is interesting. This is my website, onpointpolitics.com. Donald Trump's got a 72% chance to win the general election to Harris's 28%. We see Donald Trump is favored to win all the swing states by a pretty large amount. And right now, he's up in my average by 2.3%. And looking at my model tested in 2020, we basically get almost a perfect result for that election. And these were the actual results. And looking at some of these things, I mean, this is something that Steve Turley on his podcast today, he mentioned as well. You can see I compared the 2020 polling averages versus the 2024 averages to see where you kind of have a little bit of a trend. And we've seen that the RCP and 538 aggregates have identically shifted about 5.6 to 5.7 percentage points to the right of where they were in 2020. My average for 2020, Biden plus 5.3, which is the most accurate. We can see here Biden won the popular vote by around 4.5 percentage points, making my aggregate the most accurate. We see mine right now has Trump plus 2.3. That's a little bit more of a heavier shift than some of these other aggregates. But we average that out. We get Trump plus 6.3%. And you look at 2020's popular vote, you apply that average shift, you get Trump up by 1.8 in the average, which is pretty close to what I have in mine. And when you do the math based on that, you get Donald Trump winning 313 electoral college votes to Harris's 225, which is my exact prediction right now. I mean, it would basically be spot on to what I have. And not only that, I have created my own state averages for 2020, retrospectively plugging in all the data from October 2nd to November 2nd and weighing to the 2020 electorates. I would have been able to predict the 2020 election with 100% accuracy, looking at Biden's 306 electoral college votes to Trump's 232. And we see now Donald Trump in my polling averages is getting about 330. Now, I don't have him winning Virginia, New Mexico, or New Hampshire, but in my polling averages, he is up in these states, and it's pretty fascinating to see that. This may be due in part due to Hispanics shifting to the right, hence why the southern western Sun Belt is just completely shifting to the right compared to what it was, as well as Florida being heavily Republican. And so looking at all those metrics, Donald Trump is in a very strong spot to win the election. Right now, the economy, inflation, immigration are the biggest issues. And in the debate, he was able to win over some undecideds with that group. And really, when you plug in all of the state, projections that I have right now, Donald Trump is very well comfortably winning this presidential election. We do have a new Ann Seltzer poll coming out of Iowa soon. It'll be interesting to see what that is. I have the state as Trump plus 16, give or take. Alaska is around a safe margin as well for the former president. Looking at South Carolina, that is safe. Illinois, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, those are likely states. DC, Maryland, Massachusetts, Vermont, these are sort of in the blue column, but slightly closer than last time. New York is also in the likely column as well. And looking at Maine's first, that'll be in the likely column. Maine's second is also safe red in this election. Hawaii is barely, and I'm talking barely, in that safe column. I mean, it's teetering around that safe column. It's literally about to fall under the 15-point threshold. And when you look at some of these other states, New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, Maine, I mean, there are only a few point victories, and Biden won all these states by 11, 7, 10, 9. Like, and now it's those independents that Donald Trump improved with in the debate and has been improving with, especially according to the big data poll from Richard Barris and Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen reports. You've seen those independents shift to the right since 2020, and a lot of these states have somewhat of a sizable independent population. And if the electorates are redder in these states, which I project they're going to be about a point redder than last time, this is where you get that big shift there as to why they're so competitive. And for the swing states, I mean, it's not even close. Like, you're talking about Florida being a 11-point win, 12-point win for Trump, Georgia 6-point win, North Carolina 7, Arizona like a 7-point win, Nevada like 5 or 6 points, Wisconsin 5 for Trump, Pennsylvania 5. The only relatively competitive red states are Michigan at basically 3 points for Trump, and Nebraska second at like 2 points. And you have New Hampshire, the closest state of the union in my forecast is Tilt Harris, and Jeremiah Watson, somebody who's on X, you should go follow. He reweights all the polling data by the crosstabs a little bit better than I would. And when you average out the last 5 polls, you actually get Harris plus 0.23. And we at On Point Politics have Harris plus 0.4 in the state of New Hampshire, basically identical, almost identical to what the reweighing shows. And so for all of those political pundits on X out there, right now, Donald Trump is up in the Electoral College. He more than likely does win the popular vote. And whoever's telling you that Harris is even close in the Sun Belt is just dead wrong. Right now, they're just dead wrong. Don't listen to anybody who's telling you the Sun Belt states are going to go to Harris. Wisconsin right now, I think, is basically out of reach for Harris. She's going to have a really hard time in that driftless area in Wisconsin, and some of those suburban areas are just going to be poison to her. She's poison to those suburbs. If she's not Joe Biden, she's not Barack Obama, like these political pundits try to claim. She's more akin to a Bernie Sanders type, more akin to a Hillary Clinton, more than anything, to be honest with you. And she, in some ways, may be even worse than Hillary, because Hillary was the first lady of President Bill Clinton. She was able to build some inroads with that class of voters, that white working class. She built some coalition with them in the 2008 primary when she ran against Barack Obama. And so that's why she was able to put up a fight with Donald Trump in those states. But in Joe Biden, I mean, he LARPed as a, Rust Belt guy, but he was able to appeal to those voters successfully. Harris can do that. And that translates to the Sun Belt as well. I mean, minority voters have just been shifting to Trump, and it's a lot of minority voters that have a lot of service jobs that are, and those people are very intrigued by Trump's policy proposals on, certain things like, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That is a huge thing right now. And those voters are really intrigued by stuff like that. And it is looking to be something really interesting come November. We'll see if Donald Trump follows through with those. If he's able to follow through with those policies, he will have basically built a base of those voters for the Republican Party. And a lot of those gains could be long-term gains for Republicans, which make the Sun Belt pretty hard for Democrats to be competitive in going into the future. And if Democrats don't change their tune, the Rust Belt's going to be a big problem for them going into the 2028 election and forward. So if you guys did enjoy this forecast and video, make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to go ahead and check out betonline.com, where you can see the latest odds for the presidential election. Donald Trump is currently the underdog for that race. And when you look, you can also bet on the different state margins. You can also bet on how much of a margin they even go as well. You can vote on swing state parlays, which is interesting. You can also vote on things about Biden. You can vote on the VP debate coming October 1st. And you can also look at governor's races as well as the Senate elections.